I love it.
It's great.
I'm having the time of my life.
It's great fun.
C'est très joli.
It made me feel very happy.
Makes everybody happy.
Isn't it time you had some fun? See Angela Lansbury in Mame. You'll be a happier person.
On Sunday night, Angela Lansbury will revive the classic lady who said, "Life is a banquet and most poor SOBs are starving to death." She will do that on stage at the Gershwin Theatre. The revival of the musical Mame remains to be reviewed by Pia and her peers, but I just want to say that last night's preview audience all but tore the seats out in the orchestra and the balcony, screaming and applauding Angela, Anne Francine, Jane Cannell, and others of the original cast. In fact, I have never seen a display like this in a theater except for operas Sutherland and Callas. It was a triumph. Songwriter Jerry Herman was there with tears in his eyes. He has this wonderful old musical, Mame, and he has a brand new hit called La Cage aux Folles coming in. Jerry whispered to me, "I am the happiest man in the world." Happiness at the Gershwin.
How about that?
Angela Lansbury won her first Tony for the 1966 musical with a popular score by Jerry Herman. This production has not aged as well as Angela Lansbury. The musical seems stiff and dated, while Lansbury is limber and raring to go. A young boy is sent to live with his wild Auntie Mame, a 20s character surrounded by eccentrics. She's the kind to give 13 cocktail parties in 2 weeks and has black coffee and a sidecar for breakfast. Una White's choreography has been recreated, and 5 other performers from the original production are in the cast. But Angela Lansbury really has to carry the whole thing. She's good, but she needs more help. Though the musical numbers are well done, in fact, the first act curtain number, Mame, is still a showstopper, the dialogue is not well directed. There's too much posing and posturing, and the sets are downright tacky. The best help that Angela Lansbury gets is from the delicious Anne Francine as Mame's best friend. These 2 old pros really have fun with a number of bosom buddies. Angela Lansbury has plenty of zest. I just wish she had a zippier production of Mame to show it off in.
The show is set poor. The scenery is road company, bus and truck. The choreography, that could use a little trucking. With the exception of the first act closer, there isn't a dance number worth sitting through. The first act scene where she meets Mr. Beauregard Jackson Pickett Burnside takes forever and doesn't play. The second act barn dance plays forever and doesn't take. But Angela Lansbury plays her part like Blackstone plays cards, and tonight at the Gershwin, it was aces. They're baking pecan pies again, tonight the chicken fries again. Angela Lansbury is back as Mame. Production closed in Philly, never made it to Boston. No ticket sale was the Broadway buzz, but tonight I was charmed, I was cheering. Mame is great musical theater. Jerry Herman's score is classic Broadway. Add Jane Connell's Miss Gooch and Francine's Vera Charles. They were both in the original. They are both simply terrific. And Angela Lansbury, she is a great star in the role that made her a great star. This is one of those shows where you walk in humming the score, and one of those rare shows that's every bit as good as you remember it. Angela Lansbury, she's even better.
Well, Tom, Auntie Mame's been with us for nigh on to 28 years. First in Patrick Dennis's book, and then on stage and screen in a variety of incarnations, courtesy of Rosalind Russell, Angela Lansbury, and Lucille Ball. Last night, Angela Lansbury returned to recreate the Mame she originated in 1966 and made us all feel 17 years younger. Lansbury won a Tony then and could again, bursting on stage in gold lame and grabbing you from the start with It's Today. remind you of the story, which covers the 18-year relationship between Mame and her nephew Patrick, who comes to her as a 10-year-old orphan in 1928, goes through the good and bad times, and winds up a properly and happily married daddy, whose young son is off with Auntie Mame in 1946. Because, as we all know, life is a banquet, and some poor SOBs are starving to death. Lansbury's in her very top form in every phase of her performance. Pure star quality takes over. There are showstoppers, her bosom buddies duet with Anne Francine, a super exercise in bitchiness, the grand first act hunt finale of Mame, and the creative jitterbug delight of That's How Young I Feel. Anne Francine's Vera Charles's Dandy, Jane Connell's Miss Gooch is to revel in, and it's good to have Sab Shimono as Ito and Willard Waterman as Babcock the lawyer, repeating their original roles. The dancers are dandy, the songs ingratiating. Mame is not the greatest of musicals, and it is in fact old-fashioned in its literal unfolding. But Angela Lansbury sets it all a-glitter. And we do need a little Christmas on Broadway right now, and Lansbury and Company provide it. Tom and Sarah?
Sounds like a rave to me. I haven't heard that in a long time.
Well, you're right. That popular resident of 3 Beekman Place came back home last night, and like Dolly Levy, Mame was back where she belonged, on Broadway. And back where she belonged, in the role she originated, the role for which she won a well-deserved Tony Award back in 1966, the delectable, delightful Angela Lansbury. As you probably know, this is the story of Auntie Mame, Mame Dennis, a free-thinking, free-wheeling, free-spirited 1920s woman, or as Mame described herself, a woman who is up every day at the crack of noon, for whom a light breakfast is black coffee and a sidecar. Now, this is the woman who is entrusted with the care of her orphaned 10-year-old nephew, Patrick, and we follow their life and times over a 9-year period, which takes young Patrick out of short pants into college and even into a brief rebellion against his high-spirited Auntie Mame. And here, Auntie Mame makes those old magnolias bloom when she takes on the Old South. Surprise this Mame is. With a lot of revivals and a terrible movie, I'd forgotten what a charmer this musical really is. It is madcap and spirited with a Jerry Herman score that lifts you right out of your seat. Now, this 1960s treat anticipated the feminist movement of the 1970s by giving us 3 of the best women characters ever assembled on one Broadway stage. We have the high-spirited, independent Mame. We have her equally independent, tough-talking, Tallulah-type sidekick, Vera Charles, and that goofy, loopy secretary, Agnes Gooch. The 3 of them brighten any stage. And boy, was a star born last night, a little bitty one, little Roshi Handwerker as young Patrick. The kid can not only mix a mean martini on stage, but can goof and gag with the best of them. So take a cue from one of Mame's many wonderful songs. If you need a little Christmas, grab the twinkle over at the Gershwin. Catch Mame. There is no brighter glitter on Broadway this summer than Angela Lansbury. I tell you, she charmed the husk right off of this corn, or, to quote Mame herself, life's a banquet and most poor are starving to death. But not if you see Mame.
Mame.
Oh,
one more time, huh?
Oh, she's terrific.
Roshi Handwerker, huh?
Yeah.
Little big hit.
Cute little guy.
Terrific. Thanks, Katie.
Mame. Mame is high-spirited, high-flying entertainment. It was, you may recall, but I'm here to tell you so it remains. Oh, it's more than a tad sentimental, too predictably liberal, the book somewhat cluttered, and its bad guys cartoon pushovers, a few harmless shortcomings, really. But Jerry Herman's hit after hit score is astonishing. The supporting cast solid right down the line, the whole shebang, designed and directed in fine fashion, and then there's Angela Lansbury.
I mean, everybody knows that 30 days on September, April, June, and oh my God, I'm your Auntie Mame.
She's everybody's fantasy aunt, is Auntie Mame, the belle of Beekman Place, and the musical chronicles her madcap life, her equally madcap friends, and most of all, her 10 years raising her nephew Patrick in her own inimitable fashion. Lansbury herself is a star. I don't mean a star as it is applied willy-nilly to any entertainer with a new gimmick and/or a hit show and/or 2 hit movies and/or 3 hit albums. I mean a star rare and true. A shining, unique talent, a gleaming live presence, a woman with nothing on her mind but to entertain, and the energy, purpose, and wherewithal to do just that far better than just about anybody else around. A star. And it goes on and on and on and up and up and up. You need a little Christmas, you've got it. You want to see a real star, you've got that too. Angela Lansbury in Mame. Oh, and Angela Lansbury will be here on Channel 2 News at 5 live tomorrow.
We were talking about why would they bring this back. Could it be by any chance because there are slim pickings on Broadway
it's been a grim time. There are a lot of free theaters, and also I think Mame is one of the very last book musicals, and then the musicals started getting very relatively avant-garde and kind of harsh and that sort of thing, and it's like a reminder of the way musicals used to be.
Those old tried and true tickets are good ones too, though. Makes a little money.
Not bad, not bad.
Okay.
Mame at the Gershwin Theatre is technically a revival of the 1965 hit musical that won Angela Lansbury her first Tony. But this production hasn't really revived the play, it has exhumed it. The Carcass is Jerome Lawrence's and Robert E. Lee's episodic book about Mame Dennis, the free-thinking, high-living professional bohemian who takes it upon herself to educate her orphaned young nephew in the wild ways of the world, circa 1929. Mame doesn't have much of a story. It has more detours than Highway 95. And whatever intimacy there is supposed to be between Auntie Mame and little Patrick is implied rather than shown.
This is my reward. Well, it's not actually my reward. It's my brother's son from Des Moines, my poor late brother.
The original Mame did have Jerry Herman's eminently hummable score, Anna White's clever choreography, and the Tony polish of its production. Well, in the new Mame, the score and choreography are intact, but the production lurches like an old hearse. There's no pulse or pizzazz, and not much snap. Only the creaking of its aching joints. You get the feeling that if this show ever really tried to kick up its heels, it would wind up with a broken leg. But there is Angela Lansbury. When she enters in a gold lame pantsuit, basking in an immediate ovation, it is cause for celebration. Lansbury commandeers this old show, and though everything around her may be geriatric, she remains eternally youthful. She slinks, she flounces, she flutters, she flirts, she makes a raised eyebrow, a waggled finger, or a crooked smile as expressive as a soliloquy. Lansbury can be, at turns, as regal as a queen or as puckish as a pixie, and she not only gives Mame a needed boost of energy, she even manages to give it a little bit of heart.
Mame isn't much of a play, and this certainly isn't much of a production. This Mame is a performance, but what a performance. Lansbury is almost enough to raise Mame from the dead. And I'm Neal Gabler.